Hey everyone, fix this. It's Icarus. Hi. I'm sorry about not uploading my video last week. Long story short, before the Roe v. Wade decision came out, I kind of had a massive self-harm episode that part of the fallout was I cut my hair. I really liked my hair, and now that I'm coming back into my own mind and I saw the damage that I did, I had to buzz it, and now I'm starting over. So I look like an egg. And that got me really. I took medication that put me kind of in a fugue state for several days, and I'm literally only just getting back into my brain now. But the good news is I'm fine. I have my next therapy appointment on Wednesday, and Briar bought a locking medical box and has hidden the key, so I don't have access to my medication unless they give it to me. And then Roe v. Wade happened. And if you have been under a rock or you're not in the US and you don't quite understand what's happening, we have in the US a legal system where a lot of things states can set what is and isn't illegal, but sometimes cases can be taken up to the Supreme Court. It's one of our three main branches. The Supreme Court is made up of 9 justices that are appointed by the president, and I believe the Congress has to say, yeah, we're good with these people, and then they serve for life unless some extreme thing happens and they get yeeted. I'm pretty sure there's been cases where justices have been yeeted, but I don't know them off the top of my head. So the Supreme Court will make decisions based off their interpretation of the Constitution, and those decisions will then come into effect and kind of override whatever state laws exist. So in Roe v. Wade, and another constitutional thing that dealt with Planned Parenthood, it made it impossible to make abortion and access to abortion illegal on a federal level. And that got overturned. Many of the current justices were, I believe most of them, or not most of them, but I know that Trump was able to shove in a Supreme Court justice or two, and that was a whole big thing at the end of his presidency before the insurrection. I feel like that got forgotten about a bit because of the whole January 6th bullshit. And we're paying the price now because the people that he appointed are in part the ones responsible for this. And I wanted to talk about Justice Clarence Thomas for a minute because he's been making some waves. If you don't know who he is, he's actually an associate justice to the Supreme Court. So he's not one of the 9, but he's up there. And I'm looking at NBC News, and he's just like, hey, since Roe v. Wade has been overturned, we should now look at these other rulings: Griswold versus Connecticut, Lawrence versus Texas, and Obergefell versus Hodges, because of this thing called substantive due process. I don't quite understand what substantive due process is. He has a hate boner for it because he thinks it's an oxymoron that doesn't have any basis in the Constitution, that it's a piece of fiction and it's dangerous. Uh, so what are these three things? So the Griswold is from 1965 and established the right for married couples to buy and use contraceptives. So birth control, condoms, that sort of thing. It's also the basis for all couples to be able to use contraceptives. Lawrence, 2003, it established the rights for consenting adults to engage in same-sex intimacy. The pegging law. And then Overtveld, 2015, allows same-sex couples to be married. And he's just like, all of these are based off of substantive due process, so we need to get rid of all of them. And that's something I'm very concerned about. So, because Roe v. Wade's been overturned, and that means abortion is no longer federally protected. But states can still make laws on whether or not it's illegal. And several conservative states had these things called trigger laws, where if X happens, this comes into effect. So in this case, their trigger laws were, if Roe v. Wade ever gets overturned, we're going to make abortion illegal. Luckily, Pennsylvania was not one of those states. There's not really a hard stance. I'm expecting something to come out in the next few months, because while Pennsylvania is kind of a purple state with two really blue cities in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, it's very red in the middle. It's very red. And I'm on Twitter now. I'm actually going to be posting this video on Twitter, and as well as YouTube. I'm going to cross-post, whatever. One of the things I've been noticing that I'm bothered by is the framing of this as a women's issue, when it's more of a reproductive rights issue. Because we have people like me who can get pregnant, but they aren't women. And I'm really concerned about this, because it's a statistic that I'd have to dig up again, that trans men and masculine AFAB people tend to be the most at risk for sexual assault. And when you get pregnant, if you can't have an abortion, you have to go off of your hormones. And I was told recently that even cis women who have high testosterone levels, they have to go on androgen blockers too. So this isn't even just a transmasculine issue. This is something that affects everyone, whether you're cis, trans, or intersex. And I wish people would remember that. And I don't think people have really brought this up, but there are a lot of people that have had top surgery but still have functional reproductive organs. And with our baby formula shortage, what are the babies going to be fed with? So yeah, I'm still planning on making that video. I don't think that's going to get out before Pride Month is over. I may actually save it until next year, because it's something that's very important to me, and I want to make sure that I put research in. But don't donate to Planned Parenthood right now. Donate to state abortion funds. Donate to local abortion funds. They really need it. They're extremely underfunded. They don't have a lot of people typically working for them, and with what's happening now, they're going to be needed more than ever. And delete your birth control apps. Delete not your period tracking apps. Delete all of that. People are going to be able to see it. They're going to be able to figure it out. Don't talk about this on Discord. Be careful. Be safe. And let's hope that we can get this fixed.